From talking about inspiring stories and giving voice to the voiceless in the persons of Dorcas and Idris, persons living with disability, and also having conversation on global issues like the preservation of the ozone layer, elimination of violence against women, and the World Health Day. On the Changemakers Voice, the first episode saw different people from different walks of life sharing different perspectives and bringing diverse solutions to our world. On the Changemakers Voice show, we had the opportunity to inspire and give the encouragement that we need to develop our world. This is the time that we say goodbye to you on the last episode on the season 1 of the Changemakers show. Let's meet some other time, somewhere on the season 2 of the Changemakers show. And my name is Andy Opondinchi, and by His grace, I remain the GIJ. Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful tool you can use to change and transform the world. Today, being 24th of January, is the World Education Day, and we are having a discussion on how the celebration is, what it means to us as a world, and what we can do to improve upon it. My name is Andy Opondinchi. This is the Changemaker's Voice. Let's take our quote for the week. We'll be right back. You are welcome back to the Changemaker's Voice with me, Andy Opondinchi. This is Andy Opondline TV. The Changemaker's Voice is all about empowering ourselves, uplifting our voice to change our world. I'm sure you got motivated by the quote you just listened to or you just watched. Let's find out who our guest with to be able to discuss on what the World Education Day means to us. We'll be right back.
Ajay Kwardang is a dedicated development professional from Twifo Himang in the central region of Ghana. Holding a bachelor's degree in social science, economics, and sociology from the University of Cape Coast, he specializes in international development and environmental justice. With a proven track record of collaborating with non-governmental and international organizations, Ajay currently works with the British Council, the Ghana chapter, driving impactful initiatives and fostering strategic partnerships. Ajay aspires to become an orchestrator of positivity and good well-being for the people within his space. He goes for what he sets his sensor upon.
You're warmly welcome back to the Changemaker's Voice with me and your Pondinchi on and your Online TV. I'm sure you now know who our guest is. Nana, you're welcome to the Changemaker's Voice. 1, 2, 3. Empower your world.
Empower your
So
world.
today being 24th of January, that's the World Education Day. As you're here, we are talking about the importance of education, what it means to us as a world and as a country, as a Ghana, and then finding out what we can do as what we can do from wherever we sit, whether being on the field or not. But before we get into it, I want to find out a bit about you. When we say Nana, who is Nana and what you do on campus?
Okay. Thank you very much for having me here. My name is Nana J. Kwatin, level 400 BA social science student.
Sure.
And the current SRC World Welfare chairperson. I'm also the Rep 2 for NUBSI as a denomination.
Okay.
Yes, I had my basic education in Twifo Himang, where I come from, and I continued at Apam Senior High School, where I had my secondary education, and I later on joined UCC.
Okay, so in your secondary school days, did you take up any leadership roles or something?
The leadership role actually started from DHS.
Okay, so tell us about it.
DHS. So DHS, I was nominated among the candidates to stand for the school prefect. Yes, I went for election, but unfortunately, I didn't win the election.
Oh, so bad.
So after that, I was appointed as the sanitation prefect
in
JHS.
Okay.
And when I went to Apam Senior High School, Form 2, I became the SRC representative for my department, General Art Department. And then Form 3, I became the house prefect for Blake Addison House 2. And then I was also the outreach president for NUBSI, where I was fellowshipping.
I see. Outreach president.
Yes.
Okay. Let me, before we find out how leadership has continued with you in the university level. So you made mention that you are the
NUBSI. NUPG is a denomination.
Yeah, on campus here,
Yes.
exactly. And then you made mention of JHS, SHS being the outreach president. What is it with you about doing the work of God? Because you did it in SS and you're doing it here. You're not a pastor, but I'm sure you have not just an inspiration or a passion to do the work of God, but as a young person who is enthused about leadership, what do you do as a child of God also in His kingdom based on the little things you have just mentioned?
Okay, so taking it from SHS, um, I I was nominated to be the main president of the denomination,
Okay.
but then at that time I had already become the house prefect, so I compared the tax that was involved and I decided to serve as the outreach president. I am serving in leadership in school, yes, serving also in the house of God because I know there is a role that I have to play in the kingdom of God to help uplift the kingdom of God. So that is what motivates me to pick up positions in church too.
I see. Are you looking forward to becoming a pastor in the next few days?
Well, I don't look for it to become a pastor, but then my belief is that in this kingdom, we all have responsibilities and then our potentials. Some are called to be pastors, some are called to be um, parliamentarians, some are called to be teachers, some are called to do other things. So, in any space that I find myself, I have to play the role
And do your best.
and do my best so that cooperatively we can help uplift the kingdom of God.
And then most importantly, may the will of God prevail. With all these things, you don't have that aspiration, but if it is His will for you to become, why not? So
Whenever I meet people who also tell me about the fact that I have to be a pastor or I will be a pastor someday, the only answer I give is be it unto me, which also means that may His will be manifested in my life.
Wow, be it unto me. I see.
Yeah.
So, Nana, you'll be a pastor one day. Be it unto me. Exactly. That's what I was expecting. So, Nana, that's good. The will of God is the most important thing. So, we are nobody without Him, as we all know. Before we move to the crux of the matter or the topic, let's find out how the leadership began way back in JHS, but way proud to come into University of Cape Coast. I'm sure it was your passion to take up leadership roles, but did you have a specific position or role to do, or a specific something to embark on when you come to UCC?
Yes, I had in mind before I even get an admission, I had in mind that any hall that I'll be affiliated to going forward, I have to put myself in a position so that by level 200, 300, I can be the hall president.
Wow.
And then alongside the way level 200, it happened that my very good friend, who is the hall president of SRC Hall, His Excellency Henry Anago, also had the same vision.
Sure.
So looking at it, that he is my friend and we have the same passion, I decided that, okay, why not? We all want to achieve one goal. So since you want to be, let me stay behind and push you and help you.
Oh, okay. So you actually did that?
I actually did that.
But were you up to the task? It could be you wanted the presidency, but maybe not saying anything bad and bringing you down or anything, but maybe you are lacking something in any way in terms of leadership. I know you have explained everything to us. I just want to know the crux of the matter by you being behind for him to go. Okay. Why necessarily did you do that? Or do you have explained a bit, but could you elaborate on what motivated you to actually, because you have leadership inspiration from JHS and from his side, whatever inspiration he has also had about leadership, fine, you are friends though, but you also are is looking up to also, because you have had this inspiration since SHS, if I must say, proud to university. So why did you necessarily have to let him be? I don't object to it. I just want to understand you better and also know how deep your friendship is, which I'll come to it after the question.
I wouldn't say I lacked any of the qualities of a leader. Even now, some people who I shared that inspiration with right from level 100, they see me and they at a point in time try to bring up the fact that you should have been the president, you should have been this. But then one of the values I hold very dear is loyalty.
Okay.
From level 100, we became friends, and then we became brothers.
Wow.
So looking at Henry Anago, His Excellency is much or more less like me. We share the same qualities, and then we have so many things in common. So looking at where we had built the friendship up to be, we have become brothers, and then he also having the same goal. He actually opened up that we have two options. It's either you go and I support you,
Wow.
and or I go and then you support me.
He actually said that.
Yes.
Wow.
But then
this
I respected him and opted to support him because he thought it wise to see me about it. That
I tell you.
brother, this is the same goal we share,
Wow.
and then this is what you have in mind. Is I also have in mind. So what do you think we have to do?
Wow.
So for that reason, I had to
you had to let him go for you to support him.
And even we came first coming, level 200, and then we didn't win. Things were not in favor of us. And per the agreement we made, you go level 100, level 300, I also go.
Wow.
So after we start again, he said that, okay, this is the agreement we made. Level 200, I went, I didn't
That
get.
level 200 getting for the whole president.
Yes.
Is it possible? But I thought you have to be in level 400 before you can
No.
vie for the position.
Once you have once you are off level 100, 200, 300.
Okay.
400 probably, unless you are a medicine student or optometry student, you will be exiting the school. So 400, as I am here, I can't stand for any position. Yes. So he said that, okay, that was the agreement. So level 300, that we said, you should also go so that I support you.
Wow.
And I said, no, look, I'm not so much obsessed with the power. We've gone for the first time. Let's show people that we are not losers. There is something bigger in us that we, even if we failed trying something great. So I will still be behind. Go.
Wow.
But then at a point in time, this everything changed, and then warfare chairperson too, we had to elect someone.
Oh, Nana, I must confess, I really admire your friendship. I have not seen you both together, not known a lot about you, but the little you have just shared with us here, I really admire the friendship. That shows how brotherly love you are sharing for each other, and how you care for each other. Because something you love that you are able to leave it behind for someone to take shows how that is not even related to you in any way. Shows how passionate you are with him, and that also explains the fact that you were telling behind the scene of camera that you are brothers. I now understand the fact that you are brothers. So guys, as you are watching us, this is what the Changemakers project is all about: uplifting our voices, being there for ourselves, and also standing in for ourselves. They might not necessarily be your brother or related, but let's come together to build our community, our country, and our world at large. So before Nana comes in to give us his take on the celebration of World Education Day as we're celebrating it today, I just want to read a little research to our audience. Someone may ask, what is International Day of Education and why do we celebrate it? The International Day of Education is celebrated on 24th January every year, and it's an occasion to acknowledge the role education plays in peace and development. As an organization committed to uniting our world through global education, we prioritize education as a way to improve outcomes for children around the world. International Day of Education is an opportunity to educate students and the community about what education looks like for children around the world, and to find ways to advocate for and promote the importance of improving access to a quality education. So finding out from you, what is your take? I know this, as we are celebrating that education is adversely impacted in every country, and every country is making use of education in training up their young people, which is the youth. What do you make of this celebration? What is your take from it, from what you said?
Okay. So I think that the the day we use to celebrate education is very important to the society, to the world at large, because that very day gives us the opportunity for us to advertise or sell out how education has been able to develop nations and transform lives. We can also use that opportunity to reach out to institutions, NGOs, and private individuals, the need for them to bring resources together to ensure that our educational institutions are very effective so that it can meet the goal it says to achieve. Not living it, we also use that day to preach to societies, races, and ethnic groups who have not yet accepted that all have chance to education and still preventing people from being educated, that they should give in so that we are being transformed by education and also transform our societies.
You are studying social sciences and majoring in economics. Why are you pursuing this courses? And if there's any clarifications, we can also give us to it.
Okay, so yes, I'm studying social science. Specifically, I am reading both sociology and economics.
Okay.
That is a combined major from level 100. I picked it up from level 200 because level 100 I was reading geography too, where I dropped the geography after level 100 and decided to continue with economics and sociology. I am someone who is who have interest in global politics and political economy. Political economy, where we look at the interplay between politics and our economic institutions, understanding how various political institutions, the decision they make affect our economic system, and how economic system also affect the role of political institutions. So sociology, because of where I find myself, gives me the advantage or has helped me to know how to relate with people. In this corporate world where we always meet with people of different behavior, attitude, and character, it is very much key for us to know how to relate with them, understand how and why they do their things, and the actual reason why they they make certain choices that, when you have not yet put on the sociological lenses, might not be able to understand them. So I chose this course so that going forward, where I find myself in bigger institutions where global politics is involved, political economy will be involved, I will use that skills that I've gained from sociology and economics to make a difference.
Sure. So, what are some of the job opportunities related to the course you're studying?
Okay, so sociology cuts across all institutions and all other fields. That is why when you go to even aspect of medicine, they study medical sociology. Yes, when you go to even law, we have lecturers from sociology department teaching criminal law, and even hospitality management and so many courses. Sociology is important there, and therefore all other institutions, it gives you the access to all other institutions because it will help you know how to interact with people and then control things.
Sure. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, that's access to quality education, aims to ensure access to inclusive and equitable education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for by 2030. Do you think this can be achieved and why?
With the SDG, their goals, I have a strong belief that it can be achieved
By 2030.
by 2030.
Yeah,
But then it will not come on a silver platter,
sure.
because when you read through the SDG from the goal 4, 4.1 till about 4.7, you see some major things being highlighted there.
Yeah,
One, you will see them talking about access to quality education.
yeah,
Two, you also see them talking about equality. That means by 2030, the inequality in our education system, where we have a very large disparity index, will be closed. And then the third one, you can also see through the SDG goals that technical vocational skills are being highlighted through. Talking about the access to quality education, I believe that we can achieve this goal by 2030. But then so many institutions, individuals, and societies have a role to play when we talk about access to quality education. There are only few individuals who provide education. They have private schools around, but the government and other NGOs have the mandate to provide the quality education. But then, as it stands now, the current state of our country and even some African countries and other worlds, we haven't taken the education to so many people. It saddens me that you see pictures of students sitting on the floor writing,
Schools under
some
tree.
schools under trees, some who are even just crying for teachers, they don't have teachers. You also see instances where ICT teachers are talking about ICT tools and then they are only showing them pictures.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Very, very, very sad. And then when they talk about a mouse, if they don't show the picture, the young boy or young girl will think it's the mouse in the bedroom or in the
Yeah.
kitchen. So we have these issues. Coming to say this, various institutions and the government have a major role to play in this. The NGOs are also involved.
Yeah, Nana, celebrating the World Education Day today, 24th of January, and as I've actually your take on the goal 4 of the SDG, whether it can be achieved and why. Let's say a bit on the goal 4 of the SDG, talk about their targets and their roles. The goal 4 of the SDG says that ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. That's the goal.
Yes.
And behind or the background of the goal states that one, the declaration that was 15 the declaration was made 2015, was adopted after taking stock of progress, that's monitoring towards the achievement of EFA goals since 2000 and the education related MDGs. Then second one says that process included preview of lessons, identifying remaining challenges, emerging and future priorities and strategies. I'm reading the background so that we'll delve quickly on the target and we can explain our thoughts on it.
Very well.
Then still in the background it says the importance of the SDGs for line up in more comprehensive, provides for extended access to all levels of education with at least 12 years of free, publicly funded quality primary and secondary, higher education, TVET, and long life education. More outline, more outcome slash skills oriented with renewed focus of acquisition of foundational skills, new focus on relevance of learning for securing decent work, focus on relevance of learning for social and civic life, and better integrated with other goals. So this is the background to the goal 4 of the SDG. And the first target, the outcome of the goal 4 of the SDG has 7. The first one is that's 4.1 quality primary slash secondary education for all. Let's take this first outcome target of the SDG Go 4. Don't we have primary and then secondary education for all in the country? Or what would you say about this particular outcome target based on taking the basis of our country?
Yes. So with the first one, primary and secondary education, I believe that if it must be done, it must be done well.
Yeah.
So the fact that we have some primary schools around where we have some majority of them government schools that are free, secondary schools also made free. I believe that the main focus should be, or the question should be that how are these primary schools, secondary schools functioning? What are the major challenges in these primary schools and then secondary schools? That the fact that we just have the primary schools and the secondary schools doesn't mean it is achieving its purpose.
Okay.
So we have, as I said earlier on, schools under trees. Yes, it will be in record that there is a school called ABC, but then what is the state of the school?
Of the school.
Is it able to achieve the main goal? Is it impacting the lives there? How can a child who is sitting under a tree possibly get the major impact that he or she is supposed to get? Some drawing on floors because they don't have writing materials and other stuffs.
Wow.
So I believe that yes, we may have some of them, but then it should be improved to meet the goal of the SDG.
Sure. So that's the first outcome target. So that was 4.1. Now 4.2 says that early childhood and pre-primary education. What would you say about that, and what's your opinion on that?
So early primary and then early childhood and pre-primary education.
Exactly.
I believe it is very important. Yes, because once the child is born, the child begins to pick certain signals from the society. We sociologists, we believe that the interactions we have with people really affect us. That is why we still up to now have a debate in sociology called the nature, where we are talking about, are people really born with their attitudes or their characters, or they learn from the society? Both of these concepts have a role to play. So I believe that the early childhood and the pre-primary education should be strengthened and made effective, because the child from that onset should be groomed well, so that whatever happens to the child at the early childhood will surely have an impact on the child going forward.
Sure.
So I believe that yes, we have a few of them, but then it should also be made functioning.
Great. Then the 4.3 says that equal access to TVET, that's a technical vocational education and higher education.
Before I tackle the problem with TVET, I would applaud the Ghana TVET service that though earlier on it wasn't like this, but then they are making effort to make it better. And there are a few NGOs who are also into it. The technical and vocational skills are very needed. Where we find ourselves in a space where so many people complete university or even SHS, but then they can't find anything doing. When these students are being equipped with this technical and vocational training, they will find something to do in the society and will not wait for the government um, to employ them. I actually know of this project that was taken by Farm Radio International, which is a Canadian NGO, but then based in Ghana, where from last year they took a project, TVET, but was mainly focused on the females, trying to pull some females into that space.
So Farm Radio International.
Yes.
What organization is it, and how are you related to them, and how did you get in contact with them for them to be able to help females and TVET?
So actually, Farm Radio International is a Canadian NGO, non-governmental organization, which has its branch in Ghana and so many African countries. The goal of Farm Radio International is to promote food production in especially the rural areas or the remote areas, where their major work that they do is farming. They will be equipped. Someone will ask radio, are they FM station or something?
Exactly.
They realize that because people are in the remote areas, the only way they can reach them is through the radio. So right from the beginning, they had their radios, they would distribute it to farmers, and then with set time, resource personnel will visit various radio stations, and then we'll be teaching them on good farming practices.
Okay.
Yes, so the farmer can be in the farm with the family working, and then we'll have the radio on. Yes, someone will also ask that, what about areas that do not have light to charge radios or something? The radio was solar made, so you just need the sun to power it, and then you can move on. So Farm Radio, I did my internship there.
Okay.
Yes, last year from August to November. Yes, I did my internship there. And during the internship, I had the chance to work on a project where It was TVET. And then the goal of that project was to promote technical vocational skills, um, to attract the females in. Because according to their studies, they realized that when you pick about 200 technical vocational skills work, you hardly even see 5 females in it.
Yeah.
And then when you take something like carpentry, you might not even see any lady who is into it. Mechanic, you might not even see any lady. But then because of the project, now they have been able to freely, without any charge, recruit so many ladies into the technical vocational
Wow.
skills.
The 4.4 says that relevant skills for work. Relevant skills for work.
So I'll make reference to my internship experience. When I started the internship, my first week, second week, that was when I sat down to say that what we actually learn in class is not really on 100% what is needed in the corporate or the job field.
Yeah.
So there were so many things I had to learn there. They had to take me through so many skills, especially computer skills that I wasn't familiar with. So I believe that as we recognize the day for education, we also take the advantage that let's try and then inculcate some of these skills. Even when you look at secondary school, just recently, um, you even hear that ICT, which should have been made an elective a core course for all students to go through. It's from SHS, you will do it up to some point, and then even exams you will not write on
All right.
ICT.
Yeah.
So we don't take it serious. And then by the time we come out from our schools, yes, we come out with our degrees, we come out from SHS, but then with the
We're not able
skills,
to even access the
the
computer
computer.
and all that. This is very unfortunate.
Personally, I got my hands on computer very well and had to use it very well after SHS.
Wow. And I want your take on this. With your submission you made just now, you touched on what we learn in school, the theoretical aspects of the things we learn, compared to the hands-on training we gain from our workplace and everything. What's your thoughts on this? A lot of, not even a lot of, most of the times we go through education that four years of degree.
For you.
When you talk of JHS 3 years, SHS 3 years, and all that, and you finish with school and you can't even set up your own business and all that, because our heads have been filled with theories and all that, and that's a problem to us. Fine, now I'm not against we going to school to learn or whatever they are teaching us and all that, but we tend to go through the theories, and the theory becomes a lot. What do you say to it as we're celebrating world education today?
Well, with that disadvantage that we have in our various schools, um, that we can talk about so many factors that are having effect in that space. When you go back to our secondary schools where our science students, you can find some secondary schools that are not having a well structured labs to do certain practicals, to undertake certain practicals, and then they are just learning the theory aspect, so they come out without knowing the practicality of whatever they are
Exactly.
learning. So as we are marking this day, it will be good if we want to really achieve this SDG by 2030, then the various facilities that are needed in our schools to make what we are learning practical should be provided for our schools so that they can make use of it.
Exactly. And then the 4.5 of the outcome target says that gender equality and equal access for all. Gender equality, which is also one of the goals for the SDG. What is your take on that?
So, with the gender inequality aspect, um, the society in which we find ourselves also have a role to play in the gender inequality. And then the females themselves, who are mostly not represented in their quantity in the education, also have their their own responsibility. Look, you can find yourself in societies even in this century, um, and then they still believe that the girl child shouldn't be given so much education because at the long run she will find herself in marriage.
Yeah, in the
It will
kitchen.
surprise you that we still have societies who believe in that. We still have families who believe in that.
This day and age.
They still believe in that. And we still have individuals, females who also believe in the fact that I don't need so much education because after all, at the end, someone will come for me. But then looking at where we find ourselves now, the females should also be given the opportunity to enter our education field. And then those few females who we find in various key positions in our societies, they should serve as a motivation for these young
Oh, that's
ones.
one.
We
Very
should
important.
educate them and then be their role models and coach them and then let them know that they also have a place at the top and they can also do well.
Great submission. Then the last but one is that's 4.6 says that youth and adult literacy.
So with the youth and adult literacy, we have some of our parents who didn't have the opportunity to enter schools as we have now. You can actually meet parents who cannot read and write.
Yeah.
That is why there was a policy, a project, the adult education, where grown-ups who didn't have the opportunity to education will also get access. So I also believe that it should be encouraged. And these parents shouldn't see it as a way to slap it on their faces how they lack education, but then in the current space that we find ourselves in the various societies, they also need their role. They also have to be able to read and at least write, if not for anything, for job opportunities. Common reading
Exactly,
and
and
then
writing. They should have it at
should be at
the
their
fingertip.
fingertips.
So the last one, that's 4.7, is global citizenship education for sustainability.
The global citizenship, talking about public education, as I said earlier on, individuals, you and I, and those out there, they also have a role to play. That they should all come together, making a reference to the TVET. When we see females in this TVET, the technical and vocational skills, we call them so many names.
Yeah.
We call them they will be top boys or barbema,
Yeah.
and all those names, which are not true. I actually met during my internship, met at a workshop,
Farm Radio International.
Farm Radio International, at a workshop at Gimpa, a 3-day workshop on this same TVET. We actually met some professors. There is a professor I know at TTU now, Professor Gladys, and she's into electricals. I met this professor to Professor Engineer Gladys. She's an engineer, and then when you see her in her overall in boots doing something technical, you marvel. So the society should just clear the notion that those technical and vocational training is for only guys.
Yeah.
Ladies also can do it and do it more. And it when you see ladies doing it, it's actually nice.
Yeah.
I actually met a lady who was painting, and then it was actually a nice experience.
Guys, you are still watching the Changemakers Voice on Andiopo Online TV with me and your opponent. You're still having interaction with Nana here, discussing about the celebration of World Education Day. That's today being the 24th of January, looking at the importance of education, how best we can come together to develop and build education, and what we can do. So before Nana comes in again, as educators, we know that a basic education empowers our students, helps them achieve their goals, and sets them up for a lifetime of success. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, access to quality education, aims to ensure access to inclusive and equitable education and promotes lifelong learning opportunities for all by by year 2030, which is when the 17 goal is supposed to be ended, and then find out whether these goals have been met. So, Nana, finding out also from you that how. Yeah. So as a as a student leader, what do you do in your bid also to promote the awareness of education from your the space you are?
In a space I find myself as a student leader, you actually meet some students who, at some point in time, would not love to even continue their education because of some of them can be financial difficulties.
Yeah.
Some of them can be low academic performance. I actually have a group of students who I met in those situations, and then um, with their low academic performance, have been giving them some mentorship since level 100. Some are in level 200 now, and they are performing well. I also belong to other societies. I belong to Elite Gen Society, which is a society in my own town, Chifuhimai.
Okay.
And then, as it stands now, I am championing a project to set something like an empowerment and leadership summit where those even at the JHS and SHS level can have access to this education, because mostly we come to meet this empowerment and leadership conferences and summits at the university level, neglecting those who are down there. And by the time they get to the university, they've already have their own skills and perceptions about leadership, and that's all.
Yeah. Before I come to ways you can also encourage our viewers, especially people who are laying this ways in this topic or in this field, on how best they can also help to uplift the awareness of education. From the quote I cited by Nelson Mandela at the beginning, education is one of the powerful tools we can use to transform and change our world. Do you accept that notion, and why why do you think, or why do you think it is from your perspective?
Yes. I actually agree with Nelson Mandela for saying education is a powerful tool we can use to change our society. Um, Making reference to what we have always learned, even from primary level to JHS to SHS and in here. Whenever we are looking for solutions to a social problem, being it sanitation problem, teenage pregnancy, to talk of any other social problem, among the solutions that you will see public education. And then that, if you don't even have any point to write under solutions, public education alone will set you a mark. That means education plays a role,
Yeah.
and the society has to be um, educated on the need for certain things until we go down there and then educate the people. Not all of them will have access to this education, but then if you are able to go down there and then explain things to them, it will bring about development. Sanitation issue, it can start right from our schools, our marketplaces, educating our market women going to churches and all other gatherings to educate them, and even individuals who are being educated. You find so many situations where people will rise from their villages, go through the educational ladder, and then after come back to our society to help development. Some come, they form NGOs, foundations to give back to society. So I really believe education
It's a powerful tool we can use to
powerful tool
transform
to transform.
our world. Now to the topic. As a passionate person about education, what would you suggest? What would you say to our audience in promoting education, or would they also do in building education in our country and on a larger scale for the world?
Okay. So to everyone, um, I believe that we have a role in education, especially with our young ones who are growing.
Yeah.
Personally, I had an experience right from primary. My early stages of education was very poor. And then at a point in time, I got to a point where I almost gave up myself. But then, with the help of a few people who are around me, my own immediate family, and a few teachers, yes, I met teachers who, at a point in time, made me feel I had nothing to give. I met students who also mocked me and then make the classroom very uncomfortable for me. But then, if you have the society, our immediate family members, and even teachers who can believe that, in as much as the student is not able to capture everything in the head and pour on the paper, there are also other educational skills like the technical and vocational skills that a child can get right from there. So they should encourage those who are already on the journey and those who are not fitting into the academia. Other opportunities are there for them. I actually met a student when I was teaching at Odoko SD Accra, who whenever we come to things that we do in class, he's not interested. But then
I'm not interested at all.
he is not doing well. He
Okay.
doesn't pull any effort, and then the father almost gave up.
Oh,
But then having a conversation with him, I realized that he has interest in other things.
such as,
His major interest was into electricals.
wow.
So I just spoke to this man that he should just wait for the young man to pass through the JHS education.
Well,
And
that's
when
the basis.
that is the basics. And then when he is entering the SHS, he shouldn't just waste the time and throw him into secondary school and push on him history and economics, which he will go and fail. So the teachers also have a role to play, that they should guide these children and their parents. Because most of the parents, they make decisions based on what they have heard. The child, my son should go and offer science. Sometimes you take time before you can convince the parent that, no, I know your child. I am the one teaching him or her. He or she is not fit for science.
Not catching you short, but on the issue of parent choosing programs, especially at the secondary level, for their world to go and offer in secondary school, in as much as I want to accept that fact, it's not acceptable. The child knows himself, or the world knows what he's capable of, or what his interests are. But the parents or the world would want the child to go and offer this because of maybe a career in the family and all that. What do you say to this thing that has been there? That fine, a few parents are doing that,
Yes.
but majority of young people are bold enough to explain to their parents that that's what I want to do. What do you say to it, and how best can we encourage our viewers, especially the young one, to own up or stand up to their parents in a respectful manner, but explaining everything to their parent that, "Oh, this is the course I want to offer, but not this."
So with the student, before you get to form 3, before you write your BEC, you probably know your strength and your
Exactly.
weakness. If I'm not good in elective maths or even mathematics at the JHS level, even the integrated science I'm doing there, and you based on the advice of a friend who might probably be good at those subjects, to influence you to also choose that I am also going to offer science. At the long run, the friend will benefit from it, but the child, will not benefit from it. The problem mostly comes with parents who have less or no knowledge in academics, because they just want the child to be a doctor. You have to go and do science. I want you to, there are some parents you meet and then they will tell you that I want my child to be a bank manager.
Yeah. But
Go
meanwhile, the
and,
child is not good at
go and do
maths
business.
and other.
But then when you see this same child now, the child will tell you that, say, Indeed, my mother is saying I should go and offer science, but then I want to go and do technical. I will also encourage those of us who have siblings who are now coming that we have a role to play. Some of our parents, they don't know anything about these choices. We should stand and defend our younger brothers and sisters and explain in a respectful way to our parents that looking at Kojo's effort, looking at Ame's effort, I think he best fits into this subject or this course
that
than
you need to
this.
offer.
Yes.
Yeah, so back to your earlier submission about what we need to, the role we need to play as individuals. You were earlier talking about as a teacher when you were teaching in
Yes. Odoko
Odoko
SDA.
SDA.
Yes.
You as a teacher, you were in the field
Yes.
and you got the opportunity to speak to someone, to even the parents. But unlike someone who is not in the education field or no education, what should a person do, or how can the person also help in promoting or helping for us to build our education in any possible way?
We have so many people who are not in the education field, but then they can also have other roles to play. We have individuals who decide to provide scholarships for students that needy but brilliant students, can give them scholarships, provide them, embark on charity works, provide certain schools with materials, learning and teaching materials. They can also help in that space to help our education system.
Okay. Then the last question that I think will bring the discussion to a close is, what values do you go by in your various endeavors?
So, as someone who is very much interested in leadership and then keep going that way, as I said at the early stages of the conversation, that I the value I hold much is loyalty. That whenever you interact with people, whenever you are dealing with people, you have to be loyal to them. Yes, where we have a very truthful situation between myself and my brother. Yes, I made that decision based on loyalty. Um, I also hold that each and every individual must also have the attitude of meekness. Uh, Meekness, where I mean that I might not know anything. You know something that I don't know. You know how to do something well better than myself.
Exactly.
So when it comes to learning is a process,
Yeah.
and therefore always I have to humble myself, bringing humility inside as another value. I also have to humble myself and learn from people, even if it's a kid. I don't mind to get the knowledge that I need, because after all, if I get the knowledge, it becomes my knowledge and not any other person's knowledge. I also believe in diligence, that
Yeah.
whatever I find myself doing, I have to do it and then do it well.
Very good. So these are the principles you go by. So your final words on the topic, then we can bring this discussion as we celebrate World Education Day. What's your final words on the topic
Okay.
in a very few words?
Okay. So my final words are, there is no doubt that education plays a very key role in our society. Therefore, I will call upon the government, other institutions, NGOs, and even private individuals. So, and then I would say that because education plays a very key role in our society, especially in our development, I would urge government, other agencies and institutions. I would also call upon private individuals that the education system should be equipped with every necessary facility that they need, so that they can provide and impact the school children effectively. I would also encourage every student out there, parents out there, that irrespective of the challenges that we face going forward in our education, we should still strive in faith and hope for the better.
Great. Nana, Charlie, thank you very much for coming to the Changemakers Voice to share your thoughts on the celebration of the World Education Day as we mark that day today. So, guys, you have heard it all from Nana. It's time for the voice segment. Let's go and watch and listen to this inspiration as we motivate ourselves. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
He got plans for you, but he needs your faith. He just needs you to call on him. He needs you to dust off your imagination and just go for it. You got to try. Quit waking up thinking you ain't got no say-so in your life. You have a choice in this matter. You can't stop what happened to you, but you can doggone sure do something about what happened to you. Life is 10% what happened to you, is 90% what you do about it. Somebody in your family gonna die. Somebody in here gonna get fired. Somebody here gonna get an eviction notice. Somebody gonna get laid off. Somebody company gonna close. That's life. Somebody you love gonna break up with you. That's life. But what you gonna do about it though? Since it's gonna happen anyway. Trust me, go home and ask God to open up your imagination and then pursue it with everything in you and watch what he do for you. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, welcome back to the Changemakers Voice with me, Adio Pondinchi, right here on Adio Online TV. I'm sure you got motivated and inspired by the video you just watched. Now we are on the fun segment. That's the Changemakers fun segment. This is a time, as you know, always we have with our interviewees, find out how smart they are. And as you can see, a guru here in education who is very passionate about education will be able to prove how smart he is indeed. So without wasting much time, let's go straight to the first segment game. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, only welcome back to the campus fan segment on the Adio Online TV, right with me and your Denchi. And the fun segment today. Nana, are you ready for the fun segment? Are you ready? I'm sure you are wondering what the fun segment is all about. But it's as simple as what we have been playing as always. The fun segment on the
I'm ready.
Changemakers, the fun segment on the Changemakers show today is, as you can see, me having a card in my hand. It has inscribed on it, guilty or not guilty. So now you get one. So the rule of the game is that, no, you just hold it. The rule of the game is that I'll ask a question, and then if you fall guilty, you need to be as truthful as a loyal person as you say you are. So if you fall guilty, you show the guilty side to our audience, and then if you don't fall prey to it, then you show the not guilty to them. So should we go now? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So the first question is, have you ever insulted your parents in your head before? Have you ever insulted your parents in your head before? It could be anything when you were young. Okay, I think I also fall prey to that. That's when I was young or younger. And then the second one is, have you ever sold a friend out in class before? It could be anything. Have you ever sold out a friend in class? They normally say you are choking them. Yes, me too. I'm guilty. Obviously, if that friend, and I do that basically on the issue of that friend or the person didn't do something or didn't do the right thing, and the teacher came asking why or who did this, I obviously can't keep quiet. So these
Especially
are the instances.
when the kings will affect everyone.
Exactly. So the third one is, did you ever punish a junior unlawfully back in secondary school? You did unlawfully. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I also did punish, but I punish basically because the student didn't do something good and has to be punished. And the fourth one is, have you ever stood up for a lady to sit in a public place? You're not guilty.
Yes, I do.
You do. So you have.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have.
So yeah, I
Yes,
also
I have.
I also fall
I
guilty.
always do.
Yeah, to it. And then the fifth one is, have you ever skipped class in secondary school when you were in SHS? Did you ever skip class?
Um,
Mm,
once a while.
once a while.
Once a while.
So okay,
But
I'm also
yes, I've done that before, but then sometimes based on a good
a
purpose.
good, exactly,
Yes, a good
exactly.
purpose.
I also remember
Yeah.
back in secondary school, I skipped few time,
Yes.
not always a few, especially when I had to go to the next community, which is where our hometown is, for something, because my mom was come there for some holidays and all that. So
Yes.
that's why I fall prey to it. And then the last question is, have you ever lied in order to get something that you were to get? Something that belongs to you, or something that someone has promised to give you, or something, and maybe the person is asking a little question to in order to give it to you. Did you ever do you have, or did you lie in order to get that thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think I
I've done some
also
before.
fall guilty
Yeah.
to it.
Back
So
in SHS.
back in
Yeah.
SHS, okay. I think I also fall pretty. So guys, this is the Changemakers Voice Fun segment where we had fun with Nana here, trying to find out some things that he has done, or even myself, something that I have done, falling guilty and also not falling guilty to some of them. I'm sure you did enjoy some of them. You can also take some of the questions we asked to answer in the comment section below, whether you fall or previously had fallen guilty or not guilty to it. We'll come back with more. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, welcome back to the Changemakers Voice right here on Nepal Online TV with me and your Pondinchi. We are discussing the World Education Day, today being the 24th of January. Education is very important, as Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa, has stated that it is a great tool we can use to transform our world. That's what we are discussing, and it's unfortunate this where time will allow us to discuss and deliberate on the issue and the event. But it hasn't ended here. You can also do your bit in wherever you find yourself, as Nana has advised and encouraged us to do our possible within our space we find ourselves. The question of the day we are putting out there to you guys is that, should a girl child be allowed to engage in TVET? What do you make of it? Do you think the TVET is strictly for guys, or do you think, as he explained earlier, there are some rules or vocational works that are mainly for male? What do you make of it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments as we keep this interactive, and share your thoughts as well. That's all the Change Makers Voice all about: uplifting our voice and sharing our thoughts to empower our world. This is the Change Makers Voice, and it's unfortunately it's where time will allow us. But you can follow us on our social media handles and also get more information on our website on www.andyopon.com, and also watch more of our videos and other episodes on Andy Upon Online TV on YouTube. Education, as our brother here, Nana J. Kwarten, has stated, is very important, and as it is the goal 4 of the Sustainable Development Goal, that's quality education, we can all do our bit to promote, ensure, and develop our education system within this country and across the borders of Ghana and across the globe. Let's do our bit we can to improve our education system, to develop our future leaders who are the youth. My name is Sandy Pondinchi. Catch you soon on the flip side. Bye bye.